Just give me one minute. Okay. Okay. So first thing, I think today is the last date for assignment, right? Today or tomorrow?
And tomorrow, sir.
Tomorrow. Okay. I guess I don't know. Somebody mailed me, I think 2 days before, saying that 6th is the last date. Please extend it to for one more day. I don't know. I didn't understand that. In fact, I also thought that yes, that is true, and then I told them, okay, I'll extend it. But I think it is still 8th, right? So that's already they
Yeah,
have some.
yeah, till tomorrow night, sir. Time is.
Uh, so it was not like difficult, right? So you had sufficient time, right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it
At
so?
least
Hmm? Hmm.
for our group,
And I
Yes,
think
sir. Yes, sir.
more than three, I think 3 weeks almost we gain, right?
yes, sir. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 8th February, that is 11, it's like midnight tomorrow. They have some more time also. And it's not so difficult. I think it should have, it's like doing a small POC for your in your company also, right? If you are a data scientist or some AI guy, so you must be doing that in already. Okay, in today's class, okay, just before that, you have any questions? Any other questions regarding assignment, course, anything? Any specific
No, sir.
concerns?
Last week, whatever hints you gave helped us, sir. Actually, I mean, at least
Oh,
I
I
could
see. Yeah. Oh my
improve the
God.
response after that.
Oh,
It
okay.
is
I
it
didn't
is
really
now
answer.
getting more
Ah,
better response than before.
wow, that's great. It's good that you're all happy and then learning something, right? So
Yes,
you're
sir. Yeah.
getting accuracy, your confidence will boost up, right? So that's a good part. Okay, I don't know what I said last week, but still fine. Good. Ah,
No, you talked
okay.
about how many chunks and how to compare that and all. So
Okay.
actually sometimes our answers were not, even though chunks
Mm-hmm.
were correct, answers were not correct, etc. We had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
But I started from whatever you said, then I could figure out the issue and it's better.
Mm. Oh, I was talking about go and analyze each of the steps, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
In deep. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay, that's good. Fair enough. Good. Anyway, anybody else have any other questions? All good. So far, how is the course going? Learning? I see a lot of people in the call. It's itself good. How many? 29 people, right? It's good. Hmm. 29 people is not so much compared to the total batch, but still good that a lot of people take the time to attend the class. Out of 174 plus 28, which is how much is 2094? 202 people. 202 out of 200 people, I don't know, 28 people are attending. Okay, good. It's okay. Just tell me one thing I wanted to understand. So if you guys don't have a question, I have a question. Um, so what do you think is the advantage of attending the live lecture? It's not like I don't say this one is good or that one is good. I just wanted to understand what do you because you guys are attending, right? For my lecture, I should be able to understand. What do you think is whether it is good or you guys have time so you attend or you wanted to attend simply so that you don't want to read earlier? Any answer is fine.
One
What
main
do you think
advantage
is
is
the
if you have any
yeah?
doubts from the previous class in live class, we
Hmm.
want to get it clarified. And
Okay.
then any questions like last time some of us had queries on
Mm-hmm.
assignment.
Okay.
Instead of
Okay.
mailing, it's much easier to convey and get the output in the live class.
Correct. Correct. Good. It's a good point.
Sir,
Any other perspective?
uh,
Yeah.
I usually attend all the class live only, but due to
Okay.
some personal reason, last time I was not able to attend any class. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in the conversational AI assignment, I am facing the same issue that the answer is there in the retrieved chunk, but LLM is
Mm-hmm.
not populating the result efficiently. So,
Mm-hmm.
if I would have joined the last class,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I was also having the solution. So I will go through the recording. So live class is very much important if you have doubts
Mm-hmm.
or any
Good. Good.
clarification is required. It's much better than having a mailing conversation.
Mm. Good. And good that you are attending all the classes. Like good. Actually, I don't know whether that is a good thing from the perspective of a student or not, but it's really a good thing to have somebody in class, right? So, for example, you think from my perspective. So I come here to teach. We thought, okay, we will teach this much, that much, and all those things. But if you see some few people, so you lose much of interest. Okay, you have to just get the slides done. It's like like presentation in office, right? Two, three people go samjhana hai, then we'll leave it, right? So something like that. So, but if you have more people, more questions, then you feel that you're okay. So, okay, there's the other way around also. Just to say, maybe when I was new, I was feeling, nobody should ask question because if I don't know what will happen, something like that. Right? You understand? So that was olden days. But now, if you feel somebody ask question, okay, let's face the question and either I will teach something or I will learn something, right? So from that. So it's always good to have people in the class in the perspective of prof, right? So as teacher, nobody is there, you will not have much of interest to go and put it after the class so that next and that too I'm a lead faculty, right? So I usually after the class I go and prepare the slides for the next class, something like that. And I have to follow up with all the people in the team whether their classes have been done correctly, what is the course, all those discussions we have to do, and how is the evaluation going on, LF. So a lot of other things also. So it gives a lot of motivation. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know what is the so that's the other part. I have also attended when I was there. I used to attend almost 90% of the classes live when I was doing MTech. Uh, in fact, I'll tell one very funny part. One of the prof, I don't want to mention, for one professor, I really did not understand much of the topic what he taught, but still I attend his lectures only to ensure because some like one or two lectures I remember, I was the only student who attended the lecture. So I felt that सर को थोड़ा अच्छा नहीं लगेगा like you understand right the sir will not feel bad feel good if I don't attend. So I in fact somewhere else I was going someday, then I stopped the car on the way, attended the lecture 2 hours. Sometimes I drove, but then when I wanted to ask doubt, so I drove very slowly. Then I had doubt, I stopped the car and then silently I'll put all the windows up and then I'll ask question and then he will also ask questions, right? So that's uh, student life, right? Even though I was working, I was not so small that I was really a student. Okay, okay, coming back. Let's learn. I think last class is we see what's done last class. Last class we saw about agents, right? So if you remember, we saw some agents through. Hmm. So we were seeing about these things, right? So what's agent and what is the importance of that react logic, right? So you plan and then act and then reflect. Reflect means you understand whether it is the right answer. You got to the right answer or not. If not, you go back again, take some memory, store it in the memory, and then again plan it so that you can use the memory later. So very important is to have memory. Okay. So with that, we'll see some workflows. Okay. We'll see some workflows and then we'll see, I think one example will be there. One example will be there. And if you guys have any doubts on this agentic workflow, we'll see. Okay. Also think how you can implement this agentic workflow. Okay. In any POC work or something. It's very easy. It's nothing but you have to add on memory, tools, and the right way of uh, handling all the situations for the main LLM. Okay. And memory is little okay. I'll go to that later. So now let's see the workflows. Okay. So there are, I think, two workflows. One is the LLM workflows. No, I think I removed that. Okay, we'll see the LLM workflows only. So I earlier had a single call LLM workflow, but then we made it as a like multiple calls. So you see here one workflow is here, then one more, sorry, workflow name, two, three calls. So this is what I used to call as not, this is not agentic. Okay. So first thing is this is not agentic. This is just LLM workflows. Okay. If you want to really make it agentic, then you have to add what all things you have to add to make a LLM call agentic. So let me ask this question because agent.
Memory, tools,
Okay. Memory, tools, anything else?
reasoning capability.
Reasoning.
Hmm. So reasoning is React में आ जाएगा, ठीक है? So these three minimum you should have. Okay. So this is itself sufficient. Okay. So you should remember these three. Okay. But none of that is here. You see here, nothing is there, right? So no memory here, no tools, no React, no thinking. It is just a LLM call. Okay. So you have an input, you send it to the LLM. Input means it can be either static or the system prompt. Okay. Plus the dynamic prompt. Okay. So you send it to the LLM and then it gives an output. And then now you decide whether it is whether it is fail or pass, whatever it is. It's just an example. Okay. Not any particular use case we are talking about. So if it is fine, then it's like you can consider this as like some intent identification or something like what do like for example, you this is a chat bot. In that you can think that this query is something like you have to go for a special agent or not. Like for example, there's a chat bot you wanted to ask a chatbot for medical field. Okay. So medical field, you understand, right? So now chatbot can answer medical field questions. Okay. So if but few users might ask simple questions, right? For example, non-medical questions also, but those are not required to be answered, right? So so you will have one like guardrail, you can talk guardrail or greetings call, right? This is a very small LLM. Uh, you can have it at the starting to understand whether the user query is related to a medical field or not. So it's very small SLM. You can call it as SLM or a small LLM. Or you can ask, like, for example, cheap, very low cost LLM like Haiku. I guess you guys know, right? So Cloud Haiku 4.5 is the latest. It's a very, it's like cost is very low and it's very quick. Okay. So it doesn't require medical knowledge to answer this question. It just have to understand whether the query is a medical question or not. Okay. So that output will tell you, okay, it is yes or no. Okay. So yes means it will go here. It is no, not a medical question means you don't need to reply, right? Maybe you can just say, I'll not be able to answer, something like that. So in yes, if it is yes, then it goes to the main LLM. So you can say that this is the main or the medical LLM, which is really specially trained by you have fine-tuned or you have trained your model. Okay. So this very high quality LLM, for example, you have taken Opus, okay, and then trained that LLM, okay, for all the medical requirements for your company or wherever the chatbot is deployed. So now this is costly, right? So this is costly because you have trained it and done a good work. So now the question will go here, then it will give an output. Okay, so it gives a medical, whatever is the medical answer, right? And then last one, you can have it like a validation. So validation, you should always have a validation, right? Validator. So validator will tell you, okay, maybe the answer is complete, right? So whatever is the answer, is it complete means a score. We can provide a uh, score or some metric you can provide. So the answer will be the answer will be there with some confidence score between 0 and 1. Okay. So the two are the outputs. Okay, this is the query. So the query will be answered with an answer and a score. Understood? This is one kind of flow. I'm not saying that this is the only way you can make. This is one such flow possible. Okay. So another case is we can think of another case, another use case for this kind of. So it again depends on your use case, which workflow you will use. Okay. And no workflows, even for a medical chatbot also, you can use this. If you think you want, it depends on what is the LLMs you wanted to prepare, and what is how you wanted to prepare, right? So here, if you see, so same medical chatbot only will take, okay, to end to make my point clear. Okay, so medical chatbot. So in that there is a query. Okay, now what happened? You have a special LLM. So instead of training one big LLM, okay. So what you thought that, okay, I'll pull some small LLMs and then train on a particular topic. For example, this is related to dental, right? This is related to something eyes, right? Ophthalmologist or something. Not so good at medical. This is related to maybe some general physician. Okay. So like this. So this LLM will be able to find whether the particular query, it will find whether which LLM it has to be sent. So what is the query related to? Whether the query is related to dental, eyes, or the general, right? So this is a router, and then based on the particular LLM, then it will give the answer. So it selected this, that's why this is not dotted. And then answer will go out, and then you will get a dental response. So in this, we did not have a validator, correct? So, and we also did not reject any of the queries. So you see here what we did, we rejected non-medical queries, right? And we had a validator. But your this is the architecture. So if you feel that your architecture for your maybe the users are mainly medical only, maybe you want to deploy this chatbot in the hospital itself, maybe at the near the receptionist you want to keep this chatbot. Okay, so in that case you will like very rarely find a question which is not related to medical. Okay, if it is a website, this is fine. You can expect this kind of non-medical questions. But if it is near in a hospital or in a very critical places, there they may not, you may not expect much of that kind of question. So having a gate here, having one LLM to identify that is very costly. Instead, you can take a call like, okay, if it is a very general question, which is not medical, then it can be sent to general LLM. You don't want to ignore any calls, right? Any queries. So it's an architectural design. Okay, depends on what is the use case and where are you going, who are your users, right? So that's what I wanted to say about this. Okay. So any queries, anything, any? Okay. So next one, let us go ahead with medical only. Okay. So here, I couldn't think of anything. But for example, this may be like a query related to again query related to medical. So you don't wanted to like in this architecture. Suppose I feel that okay, I don't wanted to have a router. Why do LLM decide what is the correct department, right? So this is one way. I'm not saying that this is not possible. This is possible, but there could be another possibility that okay, why to say that LLM to decide a thing? By default, I send it to each of the specialized LLMs. Okay, this is dental, this is eyes, and this is general. Okay, I'll send it to all three, and in aggregator you can decide. Okay, maybe this will give a score 1. Okay, so this will give an answer 1 and then score 1. This will give an answer, its own answer, and then it will give a score also. It will give an answer and then score. Okay. So now, based on the score, I will decide, okay, whoever is confident, that should be the answer. This is one way. Okay. So I hope I'm clear here, right? So the aggregator will decide, okay, who is the right guy? Or maybe it is like, I'll add all the thing because if this score and this score is high, maybe 90%, zero point 0.9 and zero point 0.9, this is 0.2. Okay. So in that case, I say that, okay, I will aggregate both the answers, A2 and A3, and then give it as a probable answers, potential answers. In olden times, you will see in chat GPT as well as Gemini, they will give two responses, right? So response 1, response 2, like that. You ask one query and they will give two responses. You can choose either one. So when it is very close, okay, so in that case, you can give both the answers. Or if this was also zero point 0.2 and this is zero point 0.9, then you can give only this direct output, A3 as the output. Okay. This is one kind of. So there is nothing like oh, I'm not in this slide, everything is not taught. There can always be a new workflow based on your own use case. Okay, just I'm trying to explain for a particular logic. Okay, whatever is there in these slides. So again, here, if you are asking a query, so here, orchestrator, right? There's no LLM. Mm, hmm. So here again, it is something like that. So only thing is before we didn't have a synthesizer, right? I think we didn't have a synthesizer. So here we will have a synthesizer also, right? So you can have an orchestrator which can understand which LLMs to go. Also we'll have a synthesizer to synthesize. So here in aggregator, what we did, we just compared the scores and then we gave an output. Okay. But here, if you wanted to have a synthesizer, like this is also an LLM or SLM, you can consider. So this LLM will decide which LLMs to go. Like maybe it chooses this and this or only this. Okay, that options are there. After that, maybe this answer is answer 2, answer 3 is there, answer 1. Suppose you consider that the orchestrator chose A1 and call 1 and call 2. Okay. So two answers will going to come, A1 and A2. Now the synthesizer can uh, compile the answer and or it can remove one answer and then compile the rewrite the other answer and then send it. Okay. So such kind of options are also you can have. Most probably we used to have like this, not for this reason. Uh, why we will have is you need a guardrail, right? So you don't trust these LLMs. In real life, you don't trust these LLM because this is too, you have to give, I'll talk about this little later. I don't want to confuse now. Okay. So we will choose this kind of logic in real life with agentic behavior. I'll tell you one very important tips when we discuss about it. Okay. Now coming to the evaluator and optimizer. So this is that. Can you think of what is this? You see solution, rejected, feedback. What is this logic?
React framework.
Very good. Yeah. So this is the React framework, right? So which makes it an agentic, not completely, but partially. Okay. React framework is partially agentic. Okay. But this is sufficient enough, right? So point is, you are asking a query, same medical field you can take. You ask a query and then generator will, this is a specialized LLM, right? Specialized, maybe trained LLM. It'll generate an answer. Then this LLM will evaluate. We already had it, but the previous workflow, but there we only had to produce one score along with the answer, correct? So it will produce, this answer will come from here. This will produce one score. And then the output will go as answer plus score, right? But here what we are doing, suppose this LLM decides that, okay, this answer is not sufficient or the score is very low. Okay, so it will also tell you why it is low, right? So any LLM, if it evaluates, it will give you a reason. So you send that reason feedback to this LLM and saying that you are the specialist. I feel that the answer is not complete for so and so reason. So now you are giving an option for the LLM to say anything based on the feedback. Like it may say, no, no, this is complete. Maybe the words are not good. I'll rewrite the words, something like that. Or it accepts that, okay, it is incomplete. I made a mistake. So normally what happens in ChatGPT or anywhere, you give one information, it gives an answer, but you're not satisfied. So you give, you think in this perspective, or you add this logic and then revise your answer, something like that we say, right? So it's something like that. So it will take some 2 or 3 rounds of um, to and fro, and then you get a high score, or the evaluator gets convinced that, okay, the specialized LLM can only give zero point 0.2 score only. Okay, maybe maximum 0.3 score only for this particular question. So once both of them are convinced, then you give the answer. This is the maximum score possible and maximum correct complete answer you can give. Okay, so this makes more sense because in real life, if you see, this is in real life means in chatbots also you see, if you ask one question, it may not answer correctly. Okay, so mm, That's a very weakness of LLM because it depends on the question you ask also. Maybe humans, since we already have the context, we understand it. But LLM, how they are trained, it depends, right? LLM is not human, right? So good that it is not human. Otherwise, you replace a lot of jobs. So it has a limited knowledge based on whatever it has, the pre-training data, whatever it was given to it. So if you give the same wordings, how a human will understand, it may not understand. So that's why prompt engineering is a little bit uh, olden days, like 2 years before, it was more difficult, but nowadays it is little bit tweak is required, not exactly like how you give instructions to a human. So exact way prompt is not right way. Okay. And also it's always good to have a validator like this so that and it can be the same LLM also. I'll not say that this LLM and this LLM has to be different. If you are using Sonnet here or GPT here, the same Sonnet or GPT you can use here also. Doesn't matter. Okay. So it's not going to take the learning from this to this. Okay. It is just the prompt, whatever you are giving. This is prompt two and this is prompt one. So it depends on the prompt what you are giving and what is the role you want it to play. It's a generator role and this is a evaluator role, right? So based on that, it will change itself. Okay. So now coming to the agent. Okay. So you see here, this is a LLM, right? This is a LLM. So please do understand this. Okay. So like last class, I guess I mentioned this if I remember in this class or some other class, I don't know. But what I mentioned was taking one LLM call. So this is what we can say like either GPT or Sonnet, right? Or Gemini, any of the LLM. So this is the human who ask a question. So we do the RAG, right? This is the RAG part, right? Retrieval. I will not write RAG. It's retrieval part. Okay, this is the retrieval. So you do an embedding and then do a go to the whatever the tool. Tool is what is the tool? A database is a tool. Vector DB is a tool. Vector DB, this is normal Postgres or SQL DB, right? And then blob storage, all those things, right? So blob, Azure में blob है, AWS में क्या है? S3, है ना? And what else? API calls, right? Or some websites, right? Internet, like in your internet, right? Bad English. Uh, So internet, then some maybe some calculation. Calculation is also fine. Otherwise, vector DB also you can have a calculation. So all these are possible, right? So and then maybe another one is memory itself. Just based on the query, like for example, this was one thing. I think I remember last semester, one project guy, I think last semester, this semester, one project came to me. Okay, there's the final semester project also I evaluate, right? So what happened? One guy said, "Sir, I am using memory, so it's an agent." So see, the memory at this point is not agent. Okay. So what was his project is was very good. I'll tell not project was not very good. I to make you understand that concept, I will tell you. So what he had was he had something some company made, I don't know, some bugs or something. It's in JSON format. Okay. JSON format, some okay, something in JSON format. So it had around, I think, 10,000 things. Okay. It's like I don't know what is that exact use case. 10,000 JSON files. What he did an embedding and then put it in a tool. Okay, so when a user will ask a query, it has to go and search in the vector DB. So and he thinks that okay, what he says that is he doesn't say that as a vector DB. He says that it will do a vector search. Okay, that is one point. But it goes and gets the top JSON files which are relevant to this query. Okay, and then brings it because it's a memory. The JSON files are in the memory, so it fetches the relevant JSON files for a particular query and then sends to the LLM, and then LLM creates an answer. So this was the simple. This is exactly a simple RAG system. Okay, but what he claimed was this was a agent. Okay, asked him how can this be an agent? He said there is a memory, right? So I am giving memory to the LLM. But is this an agent? Does somebody agree with this in this class? Does somebody agree that this is an agent? Was this what we were talking about in agent? Is that same as this side? What is written here?
Agent should invoke some tool. I mean, it should have some tool to do something, right? This is just fetching.
So agents, can we say agents is when it has the power to cross-check their own actions?
This you see, Gumne wala, this one. This should be there for agent. Then only it is an agent. This red one is the most important thing. How do you feed it to the LLM is the logic. Okay. So and what do you feed? It's not just going and fetching only the response. It should also give the feedback. I'll tell you an example for that. It makes a lot more improvement. Why agent is great is not just you are getting the tools response only. Okay. So it's not just only response. I'll tell you, there is one database, my previous organization, it was like very complex. Okay. Very complex ka meaning kya hai? So it's an SQL DB, I guess. So, yeah, SQL DB. Okay. So what happened is there are no foreign keys where it should have. It's around 2000 tables. Okay. So many of the tables had around millions of rows. Some of the tables have the maximum is 7 million rows. Okay. So what is the point is the complexity there is that what should be there in the SQL DB was not there. It's not just that it's an SQL DB database, not just text to SQL logic. Okay. Why? Because this. So for example, you have a table, right? So I don't know how many of you understand this. So suppose you have a column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay. This is table 1. And you have a table 10. Okay. So in that you have a column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, for example. So I hope you understand what is foreign key, right? So foreign key is like you know that this is table 1 ka column 1 is same as table 10 ka column 3. Okay. So this is there. It should be there, right? You guys understand, right? The database means. So there should be a relationship. There should be nahi hai. Whatever relationships are there, it should be noted somewhere, right? It should be written as comments or whatever it is. But it was not there. Okay. Even though this column is same as this column, nowhere in the database schema you can get this. Okay, that is because of lot of columns and lot of tables, and it's a legacy problem. Okay, legacy uh, design product. So that is missing. Another one missing is like, for example, names are also, it's not like, okay, so here T1, C1 has like, for example, project ID. Okay, this is project ID. So if the same name is used here, at least I'll be able to understand, right? Okay. So T10 C3 table 10 column 3. If it is also project ID, then okay. Even though then okay means this is also not okay, but ideally you should have a relationship, foreign key relationship. That is not there. First one. Second one, at least the name should have been same. That is also not there because I'm not talking about the primary keys. Okay, forget about the primary keys. So here it is PID. So it is project ID in one table, another table it is PID, and both are same. The values are the range of values, the list of values are same. Okay, but there is no relation. How will you identify this table? How do you find a relationship between these two tables in live? Correct. What do people do was the most funny stuff. Um, Actually, before I went, people were like not so much Gen A people. So what they told was very simple answer. When somebody asked to make a chat bot over this database, what they said was, no, no, for this, yeah, we can make a data chat bot. We need the database team, right? They will create all these foreign keys. It's not 10, 20 tables, right? It's 2000 tables. You understand 2000 tables. And they're not all sitting simply that, okay, you are given a workman, they will keep doing this work from next 3 months and then give you an answer, right? And they also don't understand. Those who built these tables are no more in the company. So ideally, nobody could give a correct answer. So this is when you should use your intelligence, but I'll not decide, I'll not tell you the exact such solution. That's very complex. But in an in a fair way, I will tell you. In a very high level, I can tell you. So now, if suppose I wanted to understand, okay, table 10, here it is table 10. There is another table like table 1907. This is the table number. And in that table number, 100th column is same as this, whatever I was talking about, right? T1 ka C1 is same as T10 ka C3 is same as T907th C100. Okay, C100, sorry, column 100. Okay, so all these three columns are same, but there is nowhere it is written that these three are same. So now assume that, okay, these three are same. How can you make your LLM, which has the access to the SQL DBs? So you are given the like access for LLM to access the SQL DB. So how can you make it find that, okay, these three columns are same? Can somebody tell and think and tell? You understood the question, right? Did somebody understand the question or I confused?
Yes, sir. So by
Okay.
probably by looking up the data between the three columns, it's uh, if it's the same set, then it's probably the same column. Because the column ID could be different, column names could be different. It's the
Hmm.
data that would identify.
Yes, very good. But that's not the complete answer because of some reasons. Uh, yeah, but you are thinking like me. That's the first thing I thought, but that's not the complete answer. But there are many other things. Why that is not the complete answer is, I'll tell you why. Because this T1 C1 might have all the values of project. Okay, consider the complete database as 100 projects. Okay. In this first table, that 100 names are there. In this second table, its third column, it it may have only 5 of the projects because the table is for some other reason. It is repetitive. You understand? It is repetitive. Only total unique values in this C3 are only 5. You understood the logic?
Yeah, foreign key
Right.
relationship. Well,
No. Foreign key तो है ही नहीं है. Forget about
okay.
foreign key. What I'm saying is the values. See what you said. You have to compare the values of T1 C1 to values of T10 C3. Correct? Correct. So what I'm saying is
Hmm.
T1 C1 ka unique values you get 100 project names. And T10 C3 ka unique values you are having only 5. But that is also project only, but you'll have only 5. So now how
Yeah.
will you say that these two columns are same? It's not same, right? You first of all, you cannot take all the 100 names and compare. Who will compare this? You will send it to LLM and compare. So here I said 100. Actually, it will be 10,000. 10,000 project names. And in the table 10 and column 3, it is only 5 project names you will get. So 10,000 project name, you cannot give it to LLM. First of all, limitation of whatever it is. It's not just project names. It's project name itself will be 3, 4 words. Okay. And so limitation of the context window. And these 5 names may not be there in whatever is the limitation what you give it to LLM. So for example, LLM cannot take all the 10,000 names. So you can feed only 5,000 names. Okay. At any point of time. So these 5 names may not be there in this 5,000 names. So I'm making it more difficult. Chod do. This is really a project, production level project. So when you are dealing with really real time, if we are dealing with a real time database, these kind of problems will come. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say. You have to have your own logic and ways to identify. Schema से answer नहीं आएगा. So somebody answered schema. Schema से it is impossible to get it. Schema से हो जाएगा तो easy है ना. Schema say you will not even get what you wanted for the first step to go ahead. So you have to go to the values. That's the first step. Using values from each of the column you have to get, but later then also you have a lot of problems like what I said, right? The 10,000 versus 5 items only, and in this only 3 items will be there. How can you even say that okay, this and this and this are same based on the values? Because the other table will have only limited number of values than the original table which had all the project names. Okay, so coming back, yeah, somebody wants to say something.
So we can check, I mean, through SQL first, seeing like the 10,000 values subset exist in the given T110, T10 C3, whatever. So if the subset exists and if the data types are same, so we can say like at least some values are there, some mapping is there, maybe there was yeah, one to less than many, I would say. So the reverse of it. So that way, through SQL or through data, we need to check first, like if we can find those. I think LLM might not find, or a better way would be just going through the SQL and finding these patterns rather than using LLMs.
Yeah, good. Your point is agreed. Partially, I've used that and the actual one. Not exactly that, but partially we have used that because you need LLM for some reason. Because one reason I'll tell you, this is 10,000 or this is 10,000, I do not know, right? So I do not know which is the main table. That is the answer. Reason. It's not the answer, that is the reason. So I do not know whether this has 10,000 project name or this one. So I do not know this is the main table or this is the main table for that particular column of project name. Okay, because like this, another 1,000 columns are there in the complete 2,000 tables, and you do not know. Like another thing is 2,000 tables I said, and each table will have around 100 to 150 columns. Okay, and every column you have to compare with each of the other tables column. So this can be a subset of this, or this can be a subset of this. So you have to do a double check comparison. That's why it is not good to go to LLM. That's a good point you said. it's not good to go to LLM with each and every possible options. You have to filter at least 70 to 80 percentage of this doubtful cases using a normal verification using Python comparisons, direct value comparisons. That's the first step you have to do. So, and at the end, around 20 to 30 percentage of the doubtful cases, you have to go to the LLM for a semantic comparison. Yeah, you are right in that
So
sense. Okay.
Sir,
yeah, the
we can,
other way could be if
Mhm.
you know the number of records are same for some of the columns. What we can do is we can somehow hash all the data for that column and generate a unique code, and that unique code we can just cross check against multiple column with same number of the data. If the number or the hash matches, that means the data should be the same. Just thinking it loud.
Hmm. If it is
sir,
same, yes, it is possible. Yes, if it is same, yes, that is right. Yeah, that is also one of the thing. We consider that initially we considered that everything is same, but then there were options where it was not same also numbers. So unique values, right? So you're saying, yes, you're right in that sense. When there is a unique value same, then it's very in that is one of the logics. Yeah.
sir, what we do in our project, so we have
Mm-hmm.
data lakes, which is
Mm-hmm.
like more than a lakh tables coming
Mm.
from different systems in the bank. So
Okay.
there is a Python library called PyDQ, and it has a function called correlation.
Okay.
So
Pi
usually,
DQ.
PyDQ, yeah, this is the library name. This is a
DQ.
data quality, yes, BEEQ.
D
Then
double
this DEEQ.
D double. I didn't get you. Sorry.
I'll
You can
just
put it in
ping.
chat.
I'll just ping you
Okay.
the
No
name.
problem.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
it has a function called correlation, and the
Okay.
whole purpose of this function is to basically identify where is the subset of data lying in the another table. So you give like
Okay.
it, you have to
Subset
go one
data.
by one. Yeah. So it will even
Okay.
find that this is a subset and this is a superset, and it will also identify the
Subset.
columns.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Subset. Okay. Yeah. Subset is not difficult stuff. Yeah. We can find it. Yeah. That's a good thing. I'll check the library also. But we can find the subset without that. But I'll check with the other things. So semantical also it will compare.
No, no, sir. It's only for IDs, especially for the foreign keys where are
Okay.
coming, right? So what happen is
Mm-hmm.
usually customer system is sending account ID.
Mm-hmm.
Transaction system is also sending account ID, but the names are different, right? So they have
Mm-hmm.
this. Basically, we can compare the coefficients between how much data is same and
Okay.
different
Yeah,
between
yeah.
those two.
Got it, got it. Okay. So just to give a glimpse, I'm sorry if some few people got bored. Point is that when you wanted to go for such kind of real life complex database, right? So when you wanted to understand, and that's how most of the databases are there. So you really need agentic way of so agentic way, it's not real time in database. Okay. It is also this agent was created to see what agent we created was it's not part of the chatbot to get the foreign keys. Okay, so we implemented that the complete workflow to get the foreign keys, and later we did some 10 percentage human sampling. Okay, so that also we did. Hmm. Okay, so coming back, so where you have to have a SQL DB or APIs, right? And what else? I've written everything here. The same, all the tools will come here. Okay, so vector DB and your raw data, wherever you are storing, like Blob or S3, uh, anything LLM should be able to have access if it is required. Okay, not everything should be there. So that's how. So you give the tool set, right? So you give the system prompt, then you give the what do you call the dynamic prompt. System prompt is a general instruction, right? So you say that okay, these are all the tool names. So third part of the tool names. Okay, not tool names, tool details. Okay. You don't just give the names, right? You give the details also. So three things you have to give. So one is the system prompt. That's the general instruction what you give it to LLM. Okay. So and along with that, what are all the tools you have? Okay. Now you say that okay, you have a SQL DB to go and get schema. So not just SQL DB is not one tool. Okay. So for example, getting schema of a table, getting schema is tool. This is one function. Okay, this is the function. So what is that? You need a table name as a argument. So this is one tool. Okay. So another tool is to get 5 rows table name. Okay. Maybe it is top 5 rows or whatever it is. Okay. So this is another tool. So it's not like SQLDB is just one tool. Okay. So inside SQLDB also you might have tools like this. Or you say that tool get data. This is another function. So where you say you give the table name, then you give the whatever is what is this condition, right? So whatever condition it has to give. Okay. So based on this condition, you will extract inside. This is all functions. You understand, right? Functions in Python. So you get this name and then you build the SQL query and then you send it to the SQL DB. So you're not so you're giving SQL DB to LLM means you're not giving credential. Don't never give credentials to LLM. Okay, LLM should not be able to directly contact the SQL DB. Okay, SQL DB or any DB. Vector DB also it should not directly contact. Okay, so it will be like a function. Okay, so you give the function details to it. That's more safer. It's not good to give direct access for LLM. Okay. LLM, even if you wanted to avoid, see in these cases you see. So in this one, LLM does not require to create SQL query. You understand? In this only SQL is required to give one table name. Only table का नाम बताना है ना? So it will bring the schema. You don't expect LLM to write SQL query to get the schema. Don't use like that. That's not agentic. Okay, agentic you call to tell the LLM to take a decision that okay now I need schema. That is the agent. It's not like you are building a. In fact, if you see out of I think 14 tools what we have made in one of our projects, only 2 tools require LLM to prepare the SQL query. For remaining 12 tools, which is also contacting the SQL DB, are not required to write the tool name. Sorry, SQL query, but it will give you arguments for the functions. This is this 3 functions. Okay, it depends on what is your use case. You'll get more. Okay, so that's how it is done. Okay, so if because why you should not get this done from SQL LLM? Can somebody think of a reason? Even though all the 14 functions are going to fetch something from SQLDB or the Postgres database, why it is not wise to make LLM to create a SQL query? Instead, why do you get only the table name and then you prepare the SQL query? Can somebody say answer? Generally, it is not good to ask LLM. Not good means not very bad. It's not dangerous. You can still have some logic, but why it is not the good design? Can somebody think of a reason? Why am I saying that you should not get SQL queries written by LLM? If there is an option to get only the uh, decision what LLM wants to do, and then if you can prepare the SQL at your end using a function, you can create 10 functions also. But that is more better. then SQL to create one direct SQL command. Can anybody think of it? Think
Yeah,
of any reason?
because yeah, it might it
Ah, very good. Correct answer. Sorry, I stopped somebody else.
no, I didn't
So,
hear the answer. Yeah, it might give some expensive query to run, which might bring, which might
mm,
be, performance
yeah,
related and issues. Even though if
mm,
we restrict it to write and just make it read, still it will be there. And if we give write access as well, then
mm,
some changes it might make which might not be project need, or it might not be good for the project. So yeah, those are the two things. But even for the read,
mm,
it might hit some performance issues,
mm,
like if it's just trying some different queries. Yeah.
correct. So it will surely give you the correct answer, but it will take 2, 3 steps, right? So when you are telling that, okay, first time it will create one SQL query, it may or may not be correct, right? So it will may make a mistake. Anyway, you are giving a feedback. So feedback is along with the error, right? So when your function runs the SQL query on SQLDB, it will get some error. SQLDB will return some error. Then you pass the error to LLM. Then LLM will understand, oh, I made a mistake in my SQL query. It will revise your SQL query to SQL query next revision. Maybe this time it runs, right? Or it makes again a mistake. Then again you will send it the error. It will surely correct. So, but you wasted 3 LLM calls, right? So cost of LLM is if it is POC project, again it is fine. But when you are going for production, this will be too much cost, right? And when you wanted to go for a very high-end SQL databases, so like in this case, you see there will be a lot of joins. One mini, so like in this project, what I was talking about, one valid SQL query has at least 4 tables involved. It's not just one table, right? So in any of these 2000 tables, if I have to get one answer from for my user query, I need minimum 4 tables. So there are a lot of joins between the tables. So you see the complexity of it's a very simple say 4 tables is nothing. I have around 12 tables also. Maximum is around 20 tables, I guess. Okay. So this it will take like 50 calls to 50 LLM calls to prepare that last 12 tables table SQL query. So it is like so many things, and users ask a lot of questions like this, right? So a lot of money will go. So that is why you should try to avoid asking LLM to create SQL queries until and otherwise it is mandatory. Okay, it's impossible for you to create based on this scenario. Okay, so to get to all those scenario itself is very difficult. That is where a lot of time will go. So mainly, see if you see in the main AI engineering or whatever the chatbot preparation, the logic you have to understand the domain knowledge. So many people think that, okay, I'm a data scientist, I don't need to understand the domain knowledge. If you don't understand the database, right? This is not my data. It is not database architecture. Is not my like as a data scientist, I'm not interested in the database architecture. If you say that, then you cannot prepare a good chatbot there. First, you should understand what is there in each of the tables, how many tables are there, what is the right data, where is the right data. In fact, I would say after working in this project for a year, uh, in the company, like there are guys who have worked in the database for almost 7, 8 years. Now I can say that I am in the top 5 people who knows about the database of this company database, right? It's very difficult to get such kind of knowledge which I have acquired, and that is required, right? I'm not boasting this. If you want to build a very good production ready system, you have to understand your data and the database from where it is coming, the architecture of the database. If you don't understand, you cannot prepare the tools. As simple as that. It's not like I'm saying something complex. No, you cannot build some production system if you don't understand the database and you don't understand what is to be fetched and what are the tool designs. It's not like that. Okay, schema for every database. I make a chatbot. I have to prepare get a schema of the database. No, not required. I can tell you a database where you don't require schema. You don't even need to worry about schema. But in this case, I should know because the database was not clean, right? If I have a clean database, like a new company started last year, every table of that company will be very clean. You will not have even issues. If you have go to a very old company, there only you will have issues, all these things. There you will learn a lot. Learn a lot in that sense. This learning is different. Okay. But the amount of energy you put in will be also helpful in other projects. So any project you are working on domain. So that's why people also see, you see, you even I apply like finance company for a data scientist role also. Okay. They'll not hire me because I may not understand the finance data. I may be a greatest of great data scientist. Okay. But they will not hire me because I don't understand the data. That's the right thing. If they hire me, then they are putting themselves in question mark. I'll not say I'll not do a justice. It depends on, like, I will put my hard work. Of course, within 3 months, I will learn the knowledge what their database architect will know. But that is the learning calibration. But as an average person, they should not, if they consider that I'm an average data scientist, they should not hire me. That's the right thing. That's different that your learning capability is different. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. That's why data scientist also should select based on the domain specialist. So if you are in finance, uh, it's not that it is impossible you can go to another industry, but that should be more question mark. The company has to trust on you so much. Okay, this guy is very good that okay, he will be able to deliver, or he will be able to learn the criticalities of this particular domain, the knowledge required to sustain in that. So they will trust on you. Then only they will hire. So you should do that justice when they hire in a different domain also, because they trust you and that's why they hire you, right? So you should also work in that sense that it's not going to be same like you worked. So learning the data and the database and whatever is the architect, like this is all talking about structured data, right? So again, there is another big story we can talk about for unstructured data in a particular domain. It's not same like unstructured, like medical books are not same as engineering books. Simple, like, because medical books logic, how do you ingest that? Like for example, you guys have done, right? So Wikipedia. I will not be good at it. You guys will be better than me by now. How you can fetch wiki articles and do a very good chunking, the ingestion part. I may require at least 2 weeks to understand how to do it, right? So you guys are far more intelligent, more educated than me in that particular logic of fetching a website. I have never worked. To be truthful, I have never worked on fetching web pages into my ingestion pipeline. I have always worked with documents, Excel sheets, PDFs, and all those docx, PPTX, doc, all those CSV files. But I've never worked on HTML. That's why I wanted to give that to you guys, so that I will also be a little selfish. I will learn from your assignments. I may not be able to see everyone's assignment, but I'll check whoever got very good marks. I'll go and look. I'm not going to give marks, but somebody else will give. I'll check whoever got very good marks. I'll check their way how they have done ingestion. Okay. Don't worry, I will not change any marks for that. Just for my learning. Okay, I hope I gave a good explanation of how it is. Is there any doubts in this slide? Anybody has any doubt?
No, sir, just one question regarding that SQL thing. So,
Hmm.
like if we kind of a cache or do have 80 to 90% of the queries that we know the user gonna ask, and we somehow for those prompts we put prompt versus queries, and first look if you get a certain prompt, look at the cache what we have and execute that query, and maybe later on if you don't find in the queries that the programmer has provided, then actually go and try different queries. uh, just wanted to share that approach if that is viable, I mean, with such kind of
No,
things.
no, viable. You told the very good logic. Yes, it is very, very good logic. That's how you reduce the uh, latency, right? So overall latency, average latency. You cannot reduce. So for example, you have a query, maybe you have a guardrail here, right? I am writing. Then you have your maybe agent with all your tools, memory, everything. And then you ideally should have a validator, right? Validator or what is that called? I called something else in my project. I forgot the names. Very bad memory. Huh, I have to see my code. You can call something else. What I wanted to say is, okay, I'll just simply say I gave a different name, but output guardrail. Okay, so I don't want to. Okay, this is this. So actual name is different. Not actual name. The name what I gave was different, but this is one, and then this will give you a response. Okay, and not right answer. It looks like bacha ka answer. So it will tell response. Okay. So the query, guardrail, agent, validator, and response, right? So what you said was cache. So that's a very good thing. So first thing is you should have the guardrail, that's for sure. So before going into agent, you can have two types of cache. Okay. Direct cache and semantic cache. Correct. Agreed?
Yep.
Direct cache and semantic cache. So, for example, the user asked a query one. Okay, so you have to go for response because at starting of your chatbot there is no direct cache or semantic cache. But once your response got generated using this agentic step, whatever is the logic inside, maybe 20 step, 30 steps, 30 LLM calls have done. Okay, done inside. So validator checks it and then produces R1. Then the R1 is getting stored in your database. This is your direct cache table or whatever, wherever you feel or you want to keep. Either you want to have it in cache or in a DynamoDB or in a table, whatever is Postgres table, whatever you want. You can do a hash and keep it, hashing and keep. Then you can have this query one and R1. Correct. Same way you can do an embedding. So here you will do hashing. Here you will do an embedding and then do it in a vector DB, right? Vector DB. You will have the same query one and R1. Correct. So here you will have vector V1. Correct. So this is direct cache where you will check exact wordings of the query. And second one, you will have the semantic cache, right? So next question user asks or any other user asks, will produce R2. So again, that will come Q2 R2 V2 and here Q2 R2. Okay. So now the third question some user is asking, it can be same as Q1, exactly some wordings. Like I'm asking, who is Bhagath? Who is Bhagath was this question. And in this also I'm asking, who is Bhagath? So it is same wordings, right? So when the third query is asked, you have already stored that query one, right? Query one. So which is same as the query two, query three, sorry. So then you pick this R1 and then send it back immediately. So R3 is, sorry, R3 is actually equal to inside it is equal to R1. So R3 को you take the R1 and then send it as R3 and then send. And then you don't need to update the direct cache in that sense because it's a cache hit, right? So this is one logic. Another logic is if suppose query 4 I'm asking, and I'm not asking who is Bhagath, I'm asking tell me about Bhagath. Semantically both mean same, right? Who is Bhagath and tell me about Bhagath. Consider like that. Okay. So how will this be able to get direct cache? It will be a miss, right? Because it is not exact wordings. But semantic cache, since you have a vector DB, your vector of this V1 will match with that V4. Agreed? So you
Yes,
pick
sir.
this R1 and then send it as R1 is same as R4. So you send R4 to the user and then you can. So you can update the direct cache and semantic cache with a counter. If you want to go more into production, that's useful. You can have a counter column. So where it says how many times that particular query was hit. Okay. So based on that, you can prioritize it. Okay. So you can have that's an additional step. Ideally, this complete stuff is an additional step. Okay, this based on my own experience. It's not required in exams. Okay, just forget about who didn't understand this. Okay, those who understood, I hope it is useful. Okay, it's a lot of khichdi there. I'll delete this, and people who watch recordings will scold me. क्या खिचड़ी बनाया है? Okay. Okay. Those who ready for read for exams will. Why it is blinking? I don't know. Okay, I'll delete later. Very bad GPU. I should buy a good laptop. Okay. So now coming to what is the topic I forgot? Agent only. We have not come out of agent. Okay. Okay, we have 30 minutes more. So in this, what we say is, okay, here we are giving tools, right? So here it is, there are a lot of tools you can use for writing, reading, writing. Then you can use any response taking from any vector database or any database. And here also you can query, right? Retrieval, like it's a vector DB or SQL DB, right? SQL DB. And tools you can have some API calls, right? Or some functions you can use particular functions wherein you can do some calculation. So suppose user asks, okay, tell me about how do you calculate a particular cost for a particular procedure, right? So then your LLM understands, okay, user is asking about a particular procedure, and yes, I have a function to do that calculation. So LLM will extract the query has some details, right? So it's maybe 3 lines or 4 lines of query, wherein you are given some numbers and told that you do the calculation for this. Okay. So LLM will extract these 3 values and give it as an argument to this function. Okay. And then the function will do the calculation and then give you the response along with the procedure in an English. Okay, in simple English. Then LLM will give the output to the user and say that, okay, this is what this is how I calculated, and this is my answer. This is your complete response. Okay, for the query. Got it. And retrieval means you can retrieve some table data or vector DB also you can use. Vector DB is not the only way to retrieve. Okay, you can retrieve from a SQL DB or you can retrieve from blob also. Okay, blob or S3, whatever you feel, you can retrieve from anything. So retrieval is just receiving some information. Vector DB is one of the way, but it is not the only way. Okay, if you have 100 items, 100 like not 100, just to say, if you have some 10 articles, in this case, why do you have to go for a vector DB? Is it really required? No, not required. You can use a blob storage or a table where you can simply chunk it and then keep. क्या हो गया भाई?
मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ.
ठीक है, आ रहा हूँ मैं काम कर।
Okay, so this is the 10 articles. So you don't need to store it always in VectorDB. VectorDB is for like millions of chunks. Okay. So if you have some minimum 10 articles only to search for, then you can keep it in a chunked form so that you can easily identify. There is one more thing those who attend the class can think of this. Grip करके एक concept है. I hope you guys already know. So you can use this to search database, right? And there is one more logic also you can think of using page index. It's released by Google. They are saying that you can use it for a lot of documents also. Maybe even if you have 1,000 documents, you can use page index logic. So that those are all different ways instead of VectorDB. And whatever it is, agent remains agent. Okay. Agent will remain. Okay. So it is just one way. Only VectorDB is not the way. You can use SQLDB, you can use Blob, you can use simple Postgres, SQL tables, or you can use grip, right? Or you can use page index, whatever it is. So one way is to retrieve information. Another way is to do some processing and then get some response. Another one is to store memory, right? Store memory is what is that is like you have, so currently LLM took one step. So for example, this is the query. So this is a very simple query, which I said here, like you have a function where you send 3 arguments, it will calculate and give you the answer and you put it out here. Okay. But for real life, if you see the complex database type of architecture, right? Or you wanted to analyze and document, we'll have one, I think one example also. But you wanted to analyze. So LLM has to analyze the system. So LLM will prepare one to-do list. Okay, to-do list first, and then maybe it has some 4 points, 4 steps to do it. So first step, it has to go and retrieve some information from some database. Okay, so it did. So that is the LLM's first step. So I will write here LLM step 1, retrieve from some DB. Okay. Then now LLM, it will go to LLM. You retrieved means the results will go to the LLM. Now LLM will be more educated, right? So at this first point, what it did was only it had query. So at this point, LLM will have query plus retrieved information. Correct. So it has the query as well as the retrieval. So now LLM step 2, it can use the same initial to-do list or it can change yours based on the information retrieved. So now it will say that, okay, now LLM what it will, now what it will do, it will go to maybe the memory. So not memory, it will go to a function tool, one of the tool, maybe tool number 12 with some argument, argument 1, argument 2, 2 arguments. It will give based on the required information. LLM decides to call 12 tool number 12 with 2 arguments. Okay, now the executed result will come, right? The response will come. The response will be there. Maybe I call it as response 12, R12. Okay. So now LLM, now at this point, LLM will have Q plus retrieved information plus R12. Correct. So as you see, it keeps on increasing. Correct. Is this good? It's not good, right? Why? Because you're, so actually, if you see MCP, I don't use MCPs because of this. MCPs, what happens? Somebody was talking about MCP last week. MCP में क्या होता है? So it keeps on increasing the memory There may be an option to manage memory, but in simple MCP, it's a very blunder to use MCP in that sense until you manage the memory. Maybe I'm not educated enough that MCPs can do manage memory, but as per my experience with MCPs, I don't use MCP because of that reason. It keeps growing. So initially you had a query. So ideally it's not query. In first step only query plus the system prompt will be there plus the dynamic prompt will be there, correct? And maybe the query's history, the previous query history will be there. So you already had three items. So plus the fourth item, retrieved information. Retrieved information is like 5 chunks. Even if you give 5 chunks, that is again huge amount of information. So it is like already you are having 1 page information. You are adding another 3 pages of information, right? 2 pages of information. So you have 3 pages at this step. And this step you have response, one more page. So you have 6 pages of data given to LLM to decide the step 3. So if you remember, I don't know how many of you noted in my design, I had step 40 because I said right 12 tables I have to join and get it. Okay. So 40 steps, right? So you imagine I will have almost a book. I will have a book at this point. Book means 100 pages of information I will have to give it to this LLM to finally decide my last answer. This query with a lot of data and finally my response will be it. Correct? You agreed? So until and otherwise you do memory management, this is those very not a sensible design, right? And MCP, as per my logic, I don't know nowadays MCP is how it works, but I think I tried 6, 7 months before. So MCPs had this problem that it keeps on adding the information to its own memory, right? You see, if I go to 40 steps, it will die. It will die means it will take another 10 minutes for me to say anything. And also, if I give 100 pages of, if the LLM has 100 pages of information at its entry, it will not remember everything. It will not know what to concentrate, right? So instead, what you should do is, so at each and every step, you should write to a particular memory. Okay, write to a particular memory what exactly you wanted to keep. For example, only the to-do list. To list. Okay, so whatever is the list is required, and some backup information. What exactly it should do. Okay, so that is the step one. So once the step one's reply came, retrieve DB answer came. So LLM will take this memory, whatever is like you have one memory. Okay. So this is the initial zeroth step. It wrote the to-do list. Okay. To-do list plus some information. So now the LLM decided, okay, you run the retrieve DB, and then information came. So now LLM will read this part plus this retrieved information, and then again update this table, update this context. I don't want to say this. I wanted to say that last, but you see that this memory, okay, it want to update this memory. So with the retrieved information, it will take some maybe 10 points. Instead of 2 pages of information, which was the 5 chunks, it just takes 10 points. Okay. And then adds it. Only this is the memory which it has to take. So based on this, the LLM has decided, okay, I will run the tool 12. Okay. So it ran and then some response came. Just add one line of response from this. So all these will be done by LLM only. It will gather the information. How it will gather once the tool run is there and then response will come. Now LLM will take this complete information, this prayer one, and then take this response and then it will revise this. Maybe the to-do list gets changed. Maybe these 10 points are no more required. Maybe, right? Maybe based on this response, this 10.10 lines are not required. Maybe 2 lines are only required. Remove everything, and then only the tool response you add it. Okay. So it dynamically updates its own memory to be used for the next step. I hope I'm clear here, right? So, so what is this? Hope everyone understood this. Did you understand this last sentence at least? The LLM updates, like it's like a notepad for you, right? So today you consider like you are writing in notes. Today kya karna hai, based on the situation. Today what I have to do. So you write 10 points. So at the end of the day, you understand that okay, out of these 10 points, maybe 2 points I completed. Another 4 points are invalid. Tomorrow I don't need to do at all because based on whatever happened today. So I removed that 4 points and then I removed the 2 points which I completed. The remaining 4 points will be there for the tomorrow. And there may be additional 2, 3 points which came because what I did today. You understand? So that's how you will keep on updating the information. Understood somebody? What I tried to say here. Could you understand what I said? Nobody understood, huh? Somebody mute, unmute and say. What you didn't understand? मेहनत करके बता रहे हैं यार. Nobody understood, huh? What you didn't understand? Is it complex again? Still a complex only, but still nobody understood.
Sir, I have one
Huh.
doubt here. No, no, sir, I
Yeah.
understood what you are telling. So,
Okay.
sir, like we use LangChain and we maintain the session memories and we keep on summarizing it to reduce the context, right?
Mhm. Hmm.
So, so this is the same thing, right? That we are using Scratchpad to whatever conversation is happening between the like
Yes, yes, yeah.
between the
It is
we keep on
almost same
reducing.
only. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So it's
is it a good
almost
technique,
same.
right?
Huh.
That we summarize every time. So, what happens is, let's say you ask something and he replies something. The ball replies something. Then what happens is the conversation is not saved as it is, but the
Correct.
context of the service is summarized and then saved in the memory.
Correct. 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 So that it uses the next time it will take that information with the to-do list and then it will say. Just give me 1 minute.
Correct.
Yeah, you're right. So it's a session management, and more importantly, you can call this as context engineering. This is a famous word, right? So this is one part of context engineering, but if you can do this, it is remaining parts are very easy. This is the most difficult part. So here I was talking about like notepad type of memory for it, but you can have a graph memory also. Graph memory. I think there is one library, I think MEMO or something. I forgot the name. I don't use graph because for this logic, it will be too different. But you can have that. Okay. So again, this is one simple way. Okay. So one is, okay, you can use graph. You can use vector DB to store this. If the memory, so here what I'm talking is only the to-do list, right? But if you see, if you feel that, okay, every step, 3 pages of information are going to be retrieved. We'll see it in one example here itself, it is there. But in that case, at 20th step, you cannot have a notepad also. Notepad also will be so much high, right? So so what you do, you can use a vector DB. You can vectorize that, you can chunk it and then vectorize and keep. Next time when you wanted to fetch its own memory also, you fetch it via vector search. Okay. So that's what I was telling earlier also. In vector DB also, you can have your memory. I think I mentioned it here, but I don't know whether you listen or not. This one here. Its own memory, right? Its own memory or the nodes, whatever you can call. You can do, it depends on what content you want it to take it ahead, right? If it is only points, then okay, Scratchpad or Notepad is sufficient. If you feel it should have some relationship maintenance and all those things, then use a graph. If you feel you wanted to have some lot of information have to be carried on, I cannot simply summarize and use it. Some cases are there. It's not like always summarizing helps. Okay, because always summarizing, you lose the main important in-depth points, right? So you wanted to vectorize it, chunk it and vectorize. So you retain the information, but based on the particular LLM step and requirement, you fetch the particular information. Okay. So I guess I covered everything. If you can understand that, that's a great thing. Okay. Mm, okay. And I think this is the same thing we have seen React wala. Okay. Mm, hmm. Here, chain of thoughts, you understand, right? Do you understand chain of thoughts? Zero shot, few shot, and chain of thoughts. Okay. I'll tell quickly. Huh? So few zero shot is where you ask the query and then you expect an answer. Okay. In few shot, you give an example. Okay, like this. So you give an example like this, and then you ask the query, and then it gives an answer. Okay. So do you understand the difference between few shot and zero shot? Anybody
Yes,
didn't
sir.
understand? Yes. Okay. And in COT, what is COT? Anybody?
Chain of
Chain
thoughts.
of thought.
Is it mentioned? Okay, it's not mentioned. Chain of thoughts. Correct. So chain of thoughts क्या है? You give a query, and so few short. Ideally, we should see this. Okay, first, why it is not? This is should be A. This should be B. This should be C. Okay, and this should be D. Okay, but that doesn't matter much. But now it is already there. I don't want to confuse. Just consider this part. Okay, this one. What I'm saying. So you have a query, and then you tell it to think. You're simply not asking for a query answer. So here zero shot में क्या होता है? You give a question and then you ask it to give an answer. Okay. But here you are telling it to think step by step. So now what happens is it thinks, even though that question is very simple, it will think. It will say, okay, this is the first thing you gave. So we have a mathematical, right? So it's not always required to think, but in mathematics we say, right? So given, what is the given things in the question? Then you solve step by step, you write, right? Then you find the calculation, right? Final calculation, and then you validate it, right? So this is how you do the mathematical steps. So like that, it is trying to do. Okay, this is zero shot. Zero shot means without giving any example, you are just telling that chain of thought. Chain of thought means think step by step. So think one by one. So how based on the query. Few shot means you give an example. You are telling how to think. Like for example, here you told it to think. If the LLM did not know, okay, how to think, it was never fed with this kind of mathematical problem. It will never know, okay, you have to first get the inputs from the query, then you have to write the steps, then you have to do the final calculation, then you have to do validation. This kind of thing, nobody knows. Like until you teach somebody how they will know, right? So, but here you are telling the LLM to uh, think in particular step. That is what is few shot. So here what you say, you are saying that, okay, if this is the query, this is how you have to think. Roger started with 5 balls, 2 cans of this one, like this. You are giving an example. This is how you have to think. Now you are giving the question. Now you give me an answer. Okay. So now what you say, it also thought. You see, this was a very simple answer, and here it thought and gave an answer. So it gave a good correct answer. Correct. So luckily here also it gave a correct answer. Why? Because LLM already, whichever LLM you feed, that LLM already know how to solve this kind of mathematical questions. But there could be a domain specific question. Like for example, you consider like oil and gas domain, where some calculation of pump RPM has to be done based on the data seed, right? So if you ask any general LLM, Sonnet or any GPT or Gemini, it may not know the procedure, correct? For that, you have to give your existing procedure, what you follow in your company for your calculation, an example of that. And then you ask the query. Then it will be able to do the same steps. So that's why it's few short and sealed. If it is a general mathematical question, 11th, 12th standard, then it should be able to get the steps it's by itself. Okay, because it nowadays all the LLMs knows mathematics. Okay, not differentiation, at least simple mathematics calculations. So now is example. So this is same thing. Okay, you can go through. Okay, let me give 2-3 minutes. Anybody has any questions here? Just go through the flow. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll just take 2 minutes break. 2 minutes take only 1 minute.
Sir, may I ask you a question regarding this assignment? Is it okay?
Hello.
Hello.
Bhagath?
No, I'm actually looking for him as well. I think he took a break.
Okay. Okay. Any questions on this module? I think.
Yes, sir. No questions on this, sir. It's clear.
No, simple, no. So many times I explained this.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. So now coming to agentic workflows. Agentic looks too much complex, but I have already explained, right? So there, uh, whatever I explained, it's just one agent, but here it is many agents. As simple as that. So till now, what I explained was like you have a query or user requirement. So query or goal. Okay, so wherever I said query, consider goal also. Okay. Then you have some guardrail. Then you have an agent, right? And then you have a validator, and then you give the response. So agent will have access to all the database, all the sources, and then all any memory, correct? So these are all, so you can call sources or tools also. So this is like vector DB and all the simple direct one, and then these are all tools and then memories. Okay. This is one agent. This is agent one. So having only one agent is okay. It can do good stuff, but based on your requirement, maybe you see that, okay, you wanted to have multi agents like, so, okay. So in that sense, you should be able to see, but point is multi-agent. What they think is, I'll tell you one more thing. In our earlier case, we had like this, right? So for example, router. So here you see, this is not an agent. Okay. Don't think this is an agent. This is just a router. It's an LLM call. It is an LLM decision to take which of the three routes. Either it is only one route or two routes. Okay, it is an intelligent decision. I agree with that, but it is not an agent because it doesn't do everything what the agent will do. But many of them in the project work, I keep repeating this because these questions I have to ask when people come for project reviews. Okay, so don't call that as an agent until otherwise you give tools and memory. Okay, so it has to do some complex. Complex means to and fro work. That flow should be there, like what we were doing, right? Like this, the flow should be there, to and fro. So here we see this is an agent. Why? Because this has a to and fro like this, right? This has a to and fro in option. So you restrict, okay, 5 steps stuck you can go. Or in my case, like what I will say, 40 steps stuck it can go. Then it is not like one time LLM will give and then you get a response. So if it is only steps, number of steps are one, then it is not an agent. Okay, simple in a very layman's language, I can say if the number of steps for this LLM is one, then it is not an agent. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. I repeat this because I don't want to hear this in the project reviews. Okay. And it's not like using 10 agents, you have done a great job. I've seen many people coming with a project which is completely can be done by three LLM, three yes, sequential LLM call can do that better than what they're calling themselves as agents. And don't put all source memory and then agents is see, you should also think whatever you are building, think that somebody is going to use it, right? I am creating 40 LLM calls in a project means you should first question me, Bhagat, are you dumb or what? This is the first question you should ask because 40 LLM call is going to cost me so much. Correct? It's not always 40, the maximum is 40. Okay. So it is going to cost me so much. And if it is going to cost me so much, I'm going to ask that cost from my customer, right? So is that product really complex and it is required for making that many calls to get the money out of the customer? Customer will pay or not, you should think. Not that simply having an agent is so great, your project is so great. I have given excellent for people who have not used any LLM, any agent, no ML projects. I last semester I gave one guy excellent who has not even done LLMs or anything. No LLM calls, no agents, nothing. Some people who did agents also made a huge blunder of not optimizing the cost. So it is not agents is like maybe a buzzword in the market, but sellable होना चाहिए है ना कुछ भी है so you call agent or many hi-fi words whatever you want you can call but at the end somebody should be able to ready to purchase it. So the importance of the work is very very important. If you don't have an importance for the work, if you put 10 agents you are just like it's an overkill, right? So keep that in mind. So here we are calling a supervisor. Supervisor is something like, so it supervisor is an agent. Here it is just one side mark, but it goes backward also like this. Okay. And supervisor will have his own, like the supervisor will have its own memory. Okay, and tools. Tools is nothing but here tools is not anything special. The tools itself is these agents only. The agents are its tools. Okay. So don't think that here supervisor will have a separate. Agents, if you see individual agents, so it can do task 1, task 3 means you can call this is tool 1, this is tool 3, something like that. and then it also has access to all the rack system, external vector DB, database, SQL DB, all those things. Then search, internet or computation, others, whatever you want to add, all the tools, extra tools. Okay. Tasks also, we call it as tool, but it can be a simple calculation or anything. Okay. So everything has a to and fro option. This agent will decide whether I want to use tool 1, tool 3, or the database, like that. Similarly, this also. Okay. So it's a complex one. It looks very lucrative, but please do understand, if it is required only you use it. Okay. Don't use it everywhere. Hmm? This is,
But this
okay, already that
agent
line
one,
is
two,
there.
three,
Mhm.
and the supervisor can be a single LLM, right? Or it should be a different LLMs.
You can have
It can be one
single.
LLM,
You
single
can
LLM,
have.
right? Yeah.
Only
Correct.
prompt is different.
Got it.
Okay. And same way. Okay. So all this, and then finally the supervisor is going to respond to the user. So user is going to ask the query. It will decide, okay, which agent has to be sent, or supervisor only sometimes can answer, right? So for example, consider supervisor as the manager, and these are all the team members. So this guy is back end, this guy is front end, and this guy is some database engineer. Okay. So MLOps guy or database engineer. So the user asks a query. Manager itself sometimes can answer, because maybe user asked what is the status of the project. So manager knows, right? So then it can answer. But user asks something technical about the backend. So supervisor decides that, okay, it has to be sent to the agent one. So agent one is the backend developer. So he understands the query and then does some calculation, or checks the AWS or Azure account, or he checks the database. Like maybe the user asked, what is the token usage of my project for the last month? So manager cannot answer, right? Nobody can answer that until otherwise they check the database. So manager gives that to agent one. Agent one understands that, okay, it is there in my vector DB, and the bedrock I have to go and then understand how much is the token used last month, and then I have to do some calculation on my backend code, because there will be some more tokens or some more overheads over what it is there in the bedrock. So that calculation or some costing calculation might be there. So he will refer everything and then finally give a finalized token cost, right? And then he will send it to the supervisor, and supervisor will do send it back to the user. So it's a simple workflow. Okay. So here one question is, even without four, one supervisor, we could consider like one agent. So like master agent. You don't need to say that. We have to say, because we are combining all the three agents. So I say master agent, and then I say I have all the tasks. Task one, task three, task two, task four, task five, right? So all the tasks, task four, task five, task two, all the tasks it has access. Master agent only. And it has access to all the database also here. So now user can interact directly with this guy. Same thing, just that I killed all the agents and the supervisor as one master agent. And instead of each agent to have this, I'm saying the master agent will decide out of the five tools where to. So why to have, like manager itself is intelligent enough to go to the Azure and AWS. Nowadays, this is what is happening, right? So A means number of people requirement gets less, and because a lot of digital tools have come, so dashboards and so many things are coming. You don't need to go to specialized person, right? Only backend engineer can do front end also nowadays, because AFA, right? So you can combine either agent one and agent two into one agent, or you can combine all the agents into one agent and then one have only one supervisor and one agent. Or you can have one master agent where all the jobs, supervisor, agent one, agent two, agent three, everything can be done. So it depends on, so you call it as a master agent for selling per point, right? Sale point. But generally you call this as an agent. So what I'm trying to say is here you should only thing what you have to, two things what you have to understand is calling just one agent which can do all the tasks is no lesser than having a multi-agent system. This is the first point I wanted to say. Second point is it's not always wise to go for one agent. Also, it is not always wise to go for 10 agents. Okay. So it depends on what is the LLM what you use, right? So because if you are using five tools and lot of vector DB, the LLM may not be able to have all these informations to correctly decide on what is the tool to be used based on the query user query. So the LLM what you use also depends on whether you should have a four agents or one agent is sufficient. Because for example, I will tell Haiku. It's a very quick LLM, okay, from cloud only. Another one is Sonnet. Another one is Opus. This is very intelligent thinking power, and this is also very good intelligence. For tool calling, this is very good, like more than 10 tools. This is very good. But if you are saying that, okay, but size, I don't know. What is the size? It's not like simply size is small means it can call. This will be like yes or no, like either one tool or second, either tool or not tool, something like that. Okay. So that is hike. So you may use hike here, even though this is supervisor, you can use hike because it either has to decide agent one, agent two, or agent three. Only three options, right? So it's like that agent one or agent two or agent three, three options. Sonnet will have all the tools. This is one Sonnet, this is one Sonnet, this is one Sonnet, like that. So based on the LLM, you can choose. If you have only access to Sonnet, you can have all four as Sonnet. Or maybe in a case like Opus is very, very intelligent. Okay. So you can have like this master agent with Opus. So it can take all the tools, it can take all the databases. So the architecture depends on each of the LLM, what you are going to use, what is it thinking power, whether it can handle 15 tools, what you are making or not, right? So all these things will come into your picture when you are doing the architecture. That's why I say that. So if you have a Opus here and then only one agent, it is no lesser than this having a multi-agent architecture. Maybe it is very good to tell in an interview that, okay, I have designed a multi-agent. But there are people who have designed only one agent, which is far more selling. पैसा कमाएगा है ना, lot of money you can earn by this than this multi-agent architecture. Okay, so there are multiple things you have to consider. I'm not saying this is good or this is good. Okay, it depends on your design, your customers requirement, and how much it is affordable, what is the importance of it, and how much money you can spend. Opus is costly. Okay, it's three times costlier than Sonnet. So you ideally you will have to pay more and you have to get more money from your customer if you are building Opus agent. Okay, but Sonnet is medium. Haiku is very, very cheap. So you can have a multi-agent like I if you ask me to design in this similar kind of architecture, I'll use Haiku here and all three combined one Sonnet. All three combined, not all three different agents. Okay, one Sonnet and one Haiku. So that will be the cheapest for now. It's a very rough thought. I have to do the complete design. Okay. So that's how you do the architecture. Okay. So rest all we'll see next class. Any questions still here?
It's a quick question.
Yeah.
So I have Sonnet, Agent 1,
Mm-hmm.
Agent 2, Agent 3,
Mm-hmm.
but I have only my user ID. That means there is only one user to access that Sonnet with one API.
Mm-hmm.
That means I will have a rate limit somewhere. But my requirement is I should be shooting these agents parallel, and that is where technically I should be using multiple agents as well, right? That I
No, 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 no.
no.
One account you can call uh, three to chhod do. You can call 40 in parallel. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with the
Because
same
yeah, tell me,
so
tell me.
so so with the same account, I can hit the LLM 40 times or more, for that matter, parallelly.
Any
It's
number
just the
of
design.
times. Actually, it is the rate limiting is the number of calls nahi hai. It is the tokens. If you have an account, right? If you have an account and you have subscribed to Sonet, any LLM, this is the logic. Sonet or GPT or Gemini, it is not the number of calls to the LLM. It is the token limit. So at a time, at 1 minute, I think you can read in, it is better to you go and read in their websites. It is, I think, 1 million tokens per minute. So if your particular one LLM call has only 1,000 tokens, okay, you can have 1,000 calls in parallel. You understood my point? But if your one
Understood.
LLM call has 1 million tokens, then you can have only one call.
Only one. Okay.
The next call will be blocked. You will have to retry after a minute, 60 seconds. Understood. So
Understood.
this is the logic I learned, but it may depend on which region you are using which LLM. Which is your region? I use in US.
So
You are using in
usually,
India?
no, sir, it's in US only.
US only. Okay. US, I think same logic only everywhere. Okay. So it maybe number will be different, maybe to 1 million or 2 million. And also you can customize this. You can also provision your own Sonnet. If your project is very critical, we have provision in one of our project. You can tell AWS or cloud, they will provision one Sonnet for you specially. Because what they do is, this are common GPUs they have. Okay, so everybody's will go into their CPUs. But if you provision one Sonnet for you, then they can reduce this time. Maybe it depends on how you like, what is your
But
requirement.
it then
Hmm.
becomes extremely expensive.
Yes,
I
of
mean,
course.
if
That's what I said. If you say I have money, you can do anything.
right.
Or you can do host your own LLM in your what is that? I forgot the name. AWS में क्या है? Other one, SageMaker.
SageMaker, yes.
Hmm. I have not done that. Actually, that also I have to do. I have ingestion embedding models and ingestion models into SageMaker. I have not used the main agents into SageMaker. I don't trust a smaller LLM for agentic behavior. Routing it is fine, but I don't trust for agentic behavior like tool calling and all those things. For tool calling, I normally use Sonnet only. Sonnet or GPT.
But sir, in general sense, what are the 2, 3 basic guidelines for having multi-agents? Because technically it's all about prompts through which you are calling the tool. So why we are calling it agent 1, agent 2, agent 3?
That's what I told, right? So even if you asked me, I would have combined all three into one. But why you have to see one very important thing. If you see my architecture everywhere, where is my the bus? Oh, here. Oh, I deleted that, na? Oh, sorry for scrolling very fast. So if you see, your user interaction agent should be different than your database interacting agents. So by default, there will be two agents. If you want this to be an agent, if it is a router, that's fine. But if you want it to be an agent, then by default, it will be a two agents logic. So if you see here, I don't know, you noticed here or not. So in my this architecture, this is the user query. This is one guardrail. So this can be done by the supervisor. And there is a validator. This also can be done by the supervisor. So if you fold it backwards like this, so what you will get is, I can fold. There's no जगह, सब खिचड़ी बना के रखा. ठीक है. So this is the user. If I fold it, I have a supervisor who does guardrail, who does a validation, correct? And below that is this agent, the main agent, what I'm talking about. This is the agent who has access to all my database, and all those tools and other things. Okay. And this has its own tools and this one. So what I'm trying to say is, this is the agentic stuff. So you see, this is the agent one, which is the supervisor. This is the agent two, which is the, I call it as the agent. Okay. So user interaction by default will be with the supervisor, who does only the uh, like, for example, high level works. Like you see, right? Your company top management or sales top management people interact with the customers. You don't allow the developers to interact with the customer because they will tell most of the techniques what we use and all flaws also. Like, so DB schema you should not tell to use it, right? So you need to have a security validator. Means it's not just validating the correct answer. The supervisor will also check, okay, any leakage of information, leakage of the logics of the agent, the criticality, credentials, or PII, personal information, all those will be verified by this agent. So by default, if you see, this is a multi-agent, means two agents, right? So simple agentic RAG, if you put in a agentic, means a completely two agents logically with memory. You should not forget, because if I forget, then people will call their projects as agentic. Okay. So keep memory and tools. Okay. Memory and tools should be there for each. Then you call yours as agent. Memory and tools for this supervisor agent, memory and tools for this agent. And it has option to do to and fro, not one call. Okay. Number of steps are greater than or equal to, sorry, not equal to, greater than one. Okay. So if the three conditions are there, then it is an agent. If these three conditions are there, this is an agent. So by default, like this only minimum, this is the minimum stuff what I'm saying, agent. For a production grade. Okay. For a simple POCs, you can remove this guy. Manager is not required, right? So simple POC, directly user can interact with the agent. Direct agent. The calm chahiye, hai na? There is no security requirement. There is no production checks, leakages, personal information chalega POC mein chalega. Correct. So, but if you want to go for production, you should have a supervisor. That's why you need somebody to verify, because even though if I develop, I always get it checked by my juniors. Even though I'm a manager, I develop a lot of things, but I check it from my juniors so that there is a double verification, because the person who develops will always miss something, because while developing, our thoughts are in a different way, right? Different perspectives. So, but high level checks like security, personal information leakages, backend information leakages, all those are different perspectives. So it's like you go and write an answer in exam. So you immediately after completing the answer, again, if you do a revision of that answer, right, you will again make the same mistake if you already made. You check 10 times also, you will make the same mistake. But once you write another question's answer, maybe after completing the complete question paper, like after answering all the 5 questions, then you go back to the first question and revise, then you will see, Arey, yaar, what foolish mistake I did. Then you will correct it. So it's something like that. So your perspective will be biased when you are a developer. So you should always have a supervisor to go for a good, credible product, right? So that's the point. Don't get offended if you're a developer, okay? Even if I am a developer, I get it reviewed by it's just a post. It doesn't matter if it's a manager or developer. It's always good to have a review, because it's good to face your company person saying that you are wrong than facing a client who says you are wrong. That will be company का भी बेइज्जती हो जाएगा ना. So be sure of that. Okay, get it reviewed always. Okay,
Sir,
too much
I have
extra.
one question on the assignment part.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the report side, right? May you know how detailed it should be? Like, is there any like number of pages restriction that you are looking for, or can it be a little more detailed?
Number of pages, sir.
Yeah, like you asked us to attach a report also when we submit the assignment.
Okay. I don't know. That left would have written report. Kya? Okay. Code evaluation report PDF. Report is architectural diagram, right? So this like this, na? You can make an architecture like this and then evaluation result table visualization. Just see. PDF report means we are not asking something very different, except the architecture diagram. I don't think anything else is to be. And one more studies, right? Studies,
Yeah,
error
studies
analysis.
and correct.
So whatever you infer, so it's nothing but high level way of explaining, high level explanation of your complete work. Correct.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
what I do, right, in class, like that. You explain the you put the architecture, and then you put in all the understanding, whatever you have learned. Do that. It will be very useful for you also. It's like very good thing. Why? Because so for example, you go to an interview, somebody asks about the project. Exactly what is there in the report only you're going to say, share that. It's that is the point. So what you learned
Okay.
from that and what is the result. So it doesn't mean that the result has to be always 100%. Okay. So whatever you learned, please do put this point. That's a very good thing. I always put it. So I'm like very good at bargaining things. I don't know I'm good or not, but I at least think that I am good. Maybe I think so many things. But point is, you would have worked hard, right? I agree. You would have put 3 weeks of at least 1 week of work in this. You would have learned, okay, ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए, ऐसे करना चाहिए. Maybe you think that that is a simple thing. अरे यार ये तो कोई भी कर लेता है, ये तो minimum चीज होता है. Like, sorry for speaking in English, Hindi. You would have thought that this is a very simple thing, and you may think that if I write this, somebody will laugh at me. Nobody's going to laugh. Okay, put everything what you
Yes,
learned.
sir.
Okay?
Yeah. So if we add like
Uh,
that, I mean, I also want to do that only. Like we have done some studies.
Correct.
I want to put it.
Put it.
I want to know how concise you want or how detailed you want,
No,
and
put how
how
much.
much should you
This is
focus
there is
on.
no constraint on that.
Okay. Then formatting, is it okay? Because last time in the assignment one, like we didn't emphasize too much on formatting, but sometimes the comments it is mentioned like formatting is not good and that's why 0.5 rated, etc. So in reporting, how
Here
much should we
formatting will not be problem.
not
Here
be problem?
formatting, somebody reduces mark, you tell me, I will tell them also. Here
Okay.
information is more important. So you say that, okay, before analyze, like I made the initial design, I thought that this LLM was not at all required. Okay. So I saw that this is the basic RAG, right? So this is the basic
Yeah.
RAG, for example. So this was sufficient. Okay. Then when we understood that the chunks were not coming, so you can put one example. Okay, see, without the main LLM, it was not good. Then we added this. So you can write a kahani on this. Okay. So added the tools and we gave the freedom, we gave the number of steps for this. Then we found that there is a very good improvement on the thing. Now currently we improved by adding this challenge. Like this is the issue. This was the issue, and proof for the issue, and then analysis. What analysis you did, and then what is the final implementation for
Okay.
each
So yeah,
challenge. Okay, each
got
challenge,
it.
and then finally you can say that okay, improvement is from 20% to 90%. You don't need to write kahani for all this. It's just 2 3 lines. We are all technical people, right? So only for presentation we need a format, but for these reports and all, what you give, what you provide to us is more. What you learn is more important. First thing, what you provide to us will be more useful for you also when you refer it later, right? So this is challenge one. Like this, you may have implemented some, handled some 5 challenges. So you can write these 5 challenges. So in the top summary, in the first page, you highlight. So these are all ways to score, right? Maybe the challenges are very small, but you can tell, okay, the total number of challenges, learnings. I use this lot in my college days. learning,
Yeah,
because
even
every professor will be happy to think that, okay, people have learned it from their assignment, right? So learnings, 5 items, uh, like that, okay? Or
got it,
challenges
sir.
or learnings like this, you can write and then fill up that PDF. It should be very interesting. You will also feel proud. I'm telling, okay, whatever I told looks like I it is for me, but you will see after this, maybe 2 years later, you will feel proud of this. You will not have time to go through the code. You can see this PDF and
Sir,
then
Bhagat
understand
sir,
what.
one
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
agree,
suggestion,
sir.
sir.
Follow-up of
Yeah.
that
See,
is like if you have code also, right?
Mhm.
Code files, is it okay if we give the GitHub link, or that you explicitly we should zip and add it? Like we have implemented some CI/CD pipeline and the size may be large. I still don't know what is the limit on the portal. So
I
in
think
case if
25 is the limit, 25 MB or
okay, so
10
in
MB.
case
I'm
if we
not
take
sure.
in case if it exceeds, shall we show the GitHub link and
Why will it exceed? I don't understand.
I
IBM
don't
file
know
तो कुछ नहीं होना
because
चाहिए ना. हाँ.
if you want to okay, I'm also trying to upload the data file which you saying don't want.
See, analyze why the file has grown up in the size, and then remove those extra stuff. I don't think code will improve. The code will be in KBs,
Not
right?
code, the data
Uh,
also I thought of putting so that you can readily
You
check.
can remove any particular thing which increases this one, and maybe PDF files you're loading or something, whatever it is, logic. So remove those. Okay, put it in files, JSON, so that. See, one thing I'll tell you. Okay, I don't want to tell you now. You
No,
complete the
we'll
assignment.
manage. Yeah, we'll manage it. That part is clear.
Okay. Okay. So what is the other query somebody was asking?
So
actually,
there is a rate
I'm
limit happening in the Wikipedia. Sorry, please go ahead. Yeah.
no, my question is like, say my assignment group people attend other sessions actually. So is it better we will go with the what is asked in the assignment documents, sir? Like assignment clearly mention what to document actually. We'll go with that actually. Otherwise, the problem is like we don't want to confuse and other guy convincing other persons is very difficult for us actually. I suggest like we
Yeah.
go with the assignment
No.
documents,
See, I
clearly
didn't tell
documented what
anything
to
extra,
document
right?
actually.
Did I say anything extra which I was
No,
not?
you are right. Actually, I don't understand why we are looking so deep into these conversations.
Oh, okay. Oh, no problem. That is just my
So
thought process I shared, but you can go ahead only with the assignment insertion. Should be
Thank you,
sufficient.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Hmm. Yeah.
uh,
So,
but,
any other
but
question? Yeah.
yeah, there is a Wikipedia rate limit is happening. For the first time it ran, but for the next time when we try to verify something or do another round of run, the rate limit is stopping us.
It
Okay, the
it
one time is
happened to
fine.
me also happened. Like I tried couple of times, it worked. It went through.
Okay.
No,
Keep
It's
a
complete
retry
delay in
options.
the query.
Retry option should work. Should
Oh,
retry should be there for everything. Okay. Do implement retry. So retry only not for fetching the data, for your LLM calls, right? LLM or SLM, whatever you are using. For that also you should have retries.
no,
Retries with some exponential gaps. Uh,
there is
Actually,
a
at
I'm
least
difference.
downloading and
three
caching it,
retries.
sir. So I don't face this issue.
Okay. So that's good.
Locally, I'm downloading and caching it. So
Mhm.
if you do that, then none of these issue will come.
If the size is meeting the requirement, then it is fine. Okay,
Actually,
downloading once, right? Okay.
Yeah, only once. Yeah.
Yeah, got
uh,
it.
actually,
Yeah,
first
please
run
go ahead.
is very perfect. But
Mhm,
following runs, we have the
mhm,
first run pickle file and the JSON data, everything.
mhm.
Since the randomness of the URLs that we need to generate, it is actually hitting the rate. I'm
Mm.
running from the East Coast time zone, US, and I don't know
Okay.
whether it is difference from the region to region or what. This is actually what I have faced. I just want to bring it to your attention. I have been trying from
Mhm,
yesterday to do a second
mhm,
run, but
mhm.
it is completely blocking my IP and not responding or
Oh.
giving me the same URLs for the randomness. Um, and it is failing out since because of the duplications. the code itself is stopping for me.
Okay. You can do one thing, just my suggestion. I don't know whether it will work or not. One thing is you can tell somebody else of in your team to, if they're in somewhere else, change the region and then run. That is one simple option. Second one, give it to somebody to download all the files. So if this is not working, changing region and working, then you can change a little bit architecture, download all the one set of HTML for your sake, because I don't want you to waste time on this fetching the data, right? So just to make sure you do the remaining stuff very nicely, concentrate on that. You can download some random files and keep it with you currently. Okay.
Sure. The first run is okay. The first run is all good.
You
I
can
very
download and then keep it with you. Like you can ask, somebody was saying about caching it, right? So you can
right.
cache it, or you can download and keep it in your files, right? So just for local access. And if somebody else will run, maybe if they're in a different region, it may work directly, because for them it may be first time, right?
That's
So you can
that's the
see.
route I'm trying it right now. But I
Okay.
just want to bring it to your attention that
Mhm.
based on the region also the rate limit is very strict
Oh,
and
okay.
severe. I'm running from East Coast. I don't know how many of them are running from East Coast, but this actually happening from yesterday morning, which is like my Friday morning. Until now, I'm not given back that IP block or this rate
There is
limit,
too much
whatever.
actually. One day,
Yeah,
track.
that's
Please
exactly
don't
what
waste time on that. Just take one download, give it to somebody to try it in another region. So, and then they will download the files and then give it to you in the form of files. And then you can load it in your cache, or you can directly use it from here. Okay. And
I'm using it in the local. The first run is fine. I had the pickle and the JSON and all the data, whatever is required for the track to provide me the right answers. It is providing me the right answers as well. I'm just trying to make
okay,
sure that
okay. You got it, got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. If you found the solution, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? All good.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sir, we can submit multiple notebooks, right? We are not looking for a single notebook.
Oh, this is a good point, but I don't think multiple notebooks are allowed. How many will
Actually,
run
I
here?
am not using notebook itself. I am doing a modular structure and it's all PY. So I will submit as a zip file with all the folder. That is fine, right?
Okay, PY is also allowed. Okay, then you can submit. Then you can submit multiple IPNB files also. Yeah,
As a
then
Yeah, I
zip
that.
think
it,
PY
can
only
use it
the
and
right size, sir. Like they asked to run the pipeline for 100 questions as well. I think
Ah,
PYs are
correct.
the right
PYs are the
So
right
there are
one.
multiple
multiple
PYs.
part for the yes, so multiple PY will be required.
Correct, correct. For ingestion, at least it should be different, right?
Well, for
Ingestion, one
ingestion,
pipeline.
then they have also asked to evaluator pipeline for 100 question. So like that they have a part.
Right.
Okay,
And
okay.
moreover, while running it as a pipeline, that's when the sequence of what is being expected to prepare the data processing and then moving forward to tokenization, all those things can be attained one after the other, which is very smooth. That's exactly is what I have been doing as well. Not with
Good.
IPNB. IPNB is actually failing with one or the other reason. That is
Async will not work, I think.
correct.
Async will not work in IPNB. You have to do something for that to work there. And it is not good also. You can't go for production with that. Good to
Right.
have I.py. Right. Yeah. Okay.
But sir, one last
I wanted to
question. Is
yeah.
it really required to have that 200 plus 300? Because I guess currently the struggle is only with getting that data and running it with that particular set. Otherwise, the other parts, if I make it 25 50 or 50 100 or 100 that works smooth. But beyond 200 300 fixed URLs, it's still okay with 200. The moment I bring in that dynamic 300, it creates a problem.
We have to struggle with data, na? That's the data science
yeah,
का
we
main
also
crux.
face, sir,
I
but
told
then
you,
we
right?
resolved it.
Database से connect करना, that is the biggest problem in data science. See, 80% of the work in data science is dealing with the front, starting part of the pipeline. So in this pipeline, which we always see that this is the data source. Actually, in this case, there is no ingestion at all. So ingestion pipeline will take almost 80% of the time. The chatbot pipeline will be nothing. It is just 20%, only accuracy improvement. The ingestion pipeline will jaan kalega. It you need to say that how bad is the data. The DB will be very slow to fetch data, a lot of calls. So that is why this retry, rate limiting, all these have to be considered. Rate limiting, there's a circuit breaker. When you go for productions, all these dimag kalega. Okay, but it is good. I am not giving other things. Rate limiting may not be a problem for you, but retries you have to do. Okay, give some gap, exponential gaps. Okay, so first call you do call one, then if it doesn't work, then try after some 10 seconds, call two. If not, you after try around 50 seconds, call three. Something like this. Okay, it's not just for LLM calls I'm talking about. Even for a data source or a wiki, you should have patience. Okay, that's the point. Sorry for that, but that's a good learning. We normally say think that okay, अभी चलाएंगे तो 5 मिनट में हो जाएगा. We can see the accuracy. No, you have to run and go for lunch and then come back and see whether it hasn't or it got stuck just after I left. Many times it happens. Okay. So do experience that. That's the fun part of data science project. Okay.
Sir, I had
Yes,
one
sir. Here
doubt.
also it took considerable time to resolve it initially.
It's so irritating, you know. What happens
Yeah,
once
yeah.
I switched on, I slept. I thought, okay, by it was actually 7 hours or 7.5 hours of ingestion time. So I ran it. It was running very nicely till fifth PDF, fifth file. Then I slept. I thought, okay, by morning it will run. I kept my laptop active, no sleep. So I ran a PPT on the side in a small frame so that my laptop doesn't go for sleep. So everything was fine. Then I went for sleep. Morning I got up and saw it. It stopped at sixth file. I was so irritated. I was feeling like I'll throw the laptop out. So it happens many times, not just one time. It has happened. So nowadays I expect, okay, God's grace. If it works, it works. Otherwise, it's expected. I don't get angry at the morning. It was just first time.
Sir, one more
Okay.
question, sir, to the
Yeah.
Srinivas, the file size. I think if
Mm-hmm.
you load the data storage also, then only it's going beyond 30 MB. Otherwise, if you skip the data storage, it will be very less only.
Yeah,
Just I
yeah.
want to
I
cross check
was
with Srinivas.
trying to upload that because that many people are facing, right? So
I
in
don't
case
think we
anyone
know
wants to,
we need the data storage, I think so. That's what I
Mm-hmm. For
yeah,
data
that's why I asked
storage,
him.
you can do one more thing. The worst case, I'm saying, but so maybe you can store that data in your like wiki is a problem. You can store it in Google Drive. You can download the HTMLs, store it in a Google Drive, all the HTMLs. So this I just don't think of this as the solution. Whoever
sir,
struggles so much
this will
can
be
do that.
created while fetching
When
the
we run the
URLs
command,
and
it will be
caching
created.
and
But
on the fly it will
Mhm.
created.
yeah,
Okay. But if the API is not working, then you can pre-download and keep it. So in the code you can write try API as the first option. If not, try it from your local Google. Local Google means your account Google, your Google account. There from there you can have. So you can tell in the so that you don't need to attach the data along with the code files and give option in your Google Drive so that the people from or you can the evaluators, right? So those five people and me, consider me also, give access to your Google Drive, that particular folder only for these six people. Okay, so that whoever opens it will be they will have the access to that Google. Either it goes to the API or it will take it from your Google Drive. This I have done for one of my projects long back. Okay.
Uh,
So
It's,
I think
it's
this
not
The
will.
about the data
evaluator,
part, sir. Like once you get the data, once you index, and
Mhm.
you need to train that BMI 25 and FAST that dense models, right? That's why those pickle
Mhm.
files are that more heavy files actually in the in the program.
No,
So
don't
we
need
need
to
to keep
train
them in
that.
the program, then only it will run actually.
Even that one, you keep it here only in your Google Drive. That's the best thing. So what
that's
I'm
why, sir.
saying is that
So
pickle file,
can
you
I?
keep it in your Google and tell that if somebody runs the ingestion process, then it automatically creates that pickle file. Okay. So suppose I take your code, run it. So it automatically creates a pickle file in my local. Okay. If not, if I am worried, I'm not interested in running your ingestion, I want to directly test your chatbot, then if I run it, then you should have that try and accept option that it will directly take the pickle file from your Google Drive. So you can give one permission for next 1 month for us. You understood?
Sorry, sir. Yeah, that's what I wanted to check
Mhm.
how to
Mhm.
because you want told that it should be there initially. That's why I asked.
Ideally, we
Okay, clear.
cannot run all the ingestion. If you see, how can you see expect
Yeah,
us
it
to run?
takes
It may
time. That's
take
why.
4 hours. 700 people are there.
Yeah,
the
Uh,
evaluator's email address, if he there, like, I know, like, your contact is there, and
in
yeah,
portal page, it will be there. If you go to our portal, right, our
okay.
yeah,
portal
Taxila
in
front
the
page itself.
front page itself, all the people, you can write all 4 sections. You can see here. See here, this is
Yeah.
there. So everybody's name, you can add everybody's name. Professors only, others are okay.
Okay.
So these
Sure.
are all the LFs. Okay. So this last 3 people, and here for my section, it will be 2 people. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you can get these people.
Thank
another
you.
is
Thank
what I'm thinking is I'll make a Git public repo and from there it can download, which is easy. That's what I wanted to ask.
That
Where
is
we
also
don't have to
fine.
give.
Whatever
Yeah.
it is, your Google or anywhere, it's just that we should not have that limitation of APIs, whatever the wiki or anywhere the API limitation. It's always good to keep it as try and accept, because many times, even if it is your own company API, it will not work. Okay, so you should always have a backup if it is a critical requirement to go ahead.
Bhagat sir, I
Okay.
wanted to ask one question. Hello.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is regarding quiz. So is there any best of two, best of three quiz sort of framework for this course?
Hmm.
Uh,
Quiz two.
Unfortunately, I missed quiz two actually. So it was my Monday was a pretty hectic too.
Oh, quiz two you have missed, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So I was expecting that if any quiz three will be there and best of two sort of framework will be there. So,
No, bhai. Sorry. There is no quiz three.
so, so people have reattempted the quiz I saw, and there was some Google sheet circulated in the WhatsApp chat group.
That was long back, huh? 2, 3 weeks
Yeah,
before.
that
See, that
I
was,
generally.
see, I see, you told some Monday you were busy, right? So what we did, what I did, I will tell. We opened the quiz on some week. I don't remember the date. Then after 2 weeks, I again reopened for those who have asked for it.
Sir, but
So
there was no
it's
mail for it.
almost. Mhm.
There was
Kya
no
kya?
mail for it. I only had read about it in the WhatsApp group. I
Mhm.
That also I read when it was the time was gone.
That is an option, na. It is not a mandatory requirement that you should have it. See, if you missed and if you felt bad that you missed, then you could have see, and that too, I gave an option for that after 2 weeks, na. So you should be active, na, somewhere. Somewhere you should be active, na, Baba.
Uh, that, that is not an official channel anyway. So,
Right. That is why I did not, because that is not official to release the quiz 2 second time.
mhm.
You understand? That is also not official. That's why it is not officially announced. Because I cannot officially announce quiz 2 फिर से open करेंगे.
No,
फिर
no,
से I will ask them.
definitely. But many courses were having this best of two, best of three framework. So I was just
Mhm.
checking if
No, it's
that's the
not
feasibility.
mandatory to have quiz best of 3. So
Mm.
you can have it. So just that only the only require mandatory step is whatever it is, we have to tell it at the starting of the course. And I hope I have mentioned it at the starting of the course. Only we will have 2 quizzes only. See, you ask people, don't feel bad for what I say. You ask people, quiz one I have opened 3 times. All the 3 times are unofficial actually.
And actually, this is the
Quiz two, I
only
have
quiz
opened one.
yeah, yeah,
I
this is the
agree. I
only quiz
agree with that. You have missed very rarely. Luck is there now. Understand? God is not always with us. Sometimes it's okay. Okay, no problem. 5 marks, no. Actually, it is a
uh,
free marks. Actually, it's you will if you would have attended, you will have got minimum 4 without even preparing. I guess many people would have will accept. Maybe not minimum 4 is too much less. Maybe minimum 4.5 without even thinking if you would have attended.
mm,
So it's a really a very bad miss you did. But that's why I give quiz one. But I tell each of them who attended in quiz one, I told them, please don't miss it in the quiz two. And quiz 2, I have reopened very. That's why after 2 weeks I reopened so that everybody who missed and you are in my class section, how can you not ping me? You should have pinged me now. Okay, who's then quiz 2 open? Was then you missed? Maybe you had some emergency or some work requirement. So you had 2 weeks more. You should have pinged me any day. I have personally messaged each of them who missed the quiz in their teams who those who pinged me, or if there it was in email, I searched personally and replied each of them in email personally in each of the email because I
mhm.
don't do it officially because this is not officially allowed. Okay, many people would
Yeah.
do it, but officially it is not allowed to open quiz. You can extend assignments, but you cannot open quiz second time because once it has gone and questions are already out. Ideally, it is easy. I just give because it's an unofficial way thing to open it second time because it's a free mark. I don't want anybody to lose it. But
Yeah.
now it is too late. If I open, it will not be good. Okay, छोड़ दो.
Mhm. So, no,
Sorry, huh?
that was
It's a bad
just
thing.
a
I agree. Hmm.
okay. I'll just send you some details
Hmm.
uh, just to have that conversation again. So I think
Hmm. Okay. Don't send some bad news. Sorry. Okay, we'll discuss whatever it is. Huh? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So all those. I hope every questions are answered. Okay, chalo. We'll meet in next class. I think this is 14th lecture, right? 14th lecture.
Yes, sir.
We have 2
14th.
more lectures. So next class we'll see some that the lucrative words MCP, A2A, right? All those things. MCP, A2A, these two are lucrative words, and some other protocols. Protocol and production. I think production grade some things which we saw today also. Like somebody asked question, that's why we discussed like caching, how to improve latency, all those things. We'll see next class also. Okay, some more things. Okay, chalo. Bye bye. Thanks.